So guys, it's 7:05, and guess what? I have a fucking 8 a.m. today. Isn't that great?
I just had a little bit too much of Hennessy. I'm just gonna tell y'all.
Thank you. See you next week. So, might have to scratch that whole 8 a.m. idea as a brand. Hey Dan. Oh, good. How you doing? Thank you.
What up, what up?
What up, Derg?
How are you, brother?
Good, how are you?
Kicking it, actually.
Look at this.
Hey.
What's new?
Nothing, just working, you know?
Yeah?
I got something I want to talk to you about the camera, you know?
Oh, geez, what is this? Oh, man.
Secret stuff.
So there's no sense, there's no way that this is going to turn into a piece of paper or a blackboard or something like that. But for humans, there's no way.
Are you saying that because of choice? Think about it this week. This conversation that's happening right now, there's no way that it would possibly happen. And then he's like, yeah, go to the argument and say, this current, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
the free will exists only in the split second we are. And even that has an explanation. Yes. That you decided that to drop it for whatever reason. Yes, but the possible worlds are in the future. And so
The future is not real.
the future is the ability for humans
strange to do it that way
to not be a statue. Like, so if you, so this desk has no choice whether or not to be a desk. It will be a desk.
Because not worry about like whether
yes. So if we had an essence like this, if we had an essence that it was impossible to change, then there would only be one possible world.
Yeah, I know
and
a little
so
bit about it. But
if we were predisposed to do
in the sense that
certain things in the exact same way, you know,
and it has less
just like this is,
like there are possible worlds where that's false.
what you call it,
Like
it has an essence to be a desk. If there's an essence to being a human being, there's only one possible way to be a human
or at least
So I'm insisting there's an essence of the world.
because you can get into like.
That's what.
So it would be a more complicated logic than the standard.
Just like there's an
logic
essence
to
for
have
life,
be
which is the
possible
reason why life happens.
possible worlds
Is
are
because
false,
in the physical world, in the
basically the way
laws
they have
as they
set up
existed,
in the
there was
standard
an essence
modal logic
such
is
that
every
the
world
specific
is
combination of
every
atoms
world.
and molecules and
So what
chemistry
looks
in
necessary
a
for one world
homeostatic environment
looks
would
necessary
lead
from
to
every
what we
world.
call life.
So wherever
And that is
you
the
move
only way
to,
that that could have
they call it
happened.
S5.
Okay.
And so ultimately what we could really
So
debate
any
here
world that's
is
possible, your world is possible. For
those
that world.
fundamental laws of physics,
And so
are they arbitrary
everything
or
is
not?
possible.
Which is
from
why
every
I'm asking
world
him, what is the
that's
basis
possible
for the
at all.
possible
Everything is
world? Because
necessary.
ultimately, those multiple universes,
That's the way it's
usually they're talking about like if like the fundamental laws of the universe are different, then that's what would allow for the
That's not
possible
what that is. It's just like if someone chose to wear a different shirt in a metaphysical sense, that is a possible world, and there is a world in the metaphysical sense that I am carrying out life just with a different shirt on.
I think the simplest way to just grasp the concept, we could argue whether it's true or not.
Yeah, he's in this
As reason to exist. most basic way is just to accept that possibilities exist, and if possibilities exist, then say we've chosen for a different way. The fact that there's a possibility allows for a different world hypothesis. And then there's also physics and
the last thing I want to say though is that
multiverse theory
setting up the possible world
that
framework is really
actually
just a way of trying to
works
say
very
what
well
Rose's
with this
thesis
idea.
is.
Yeah, what do you think about simulation theory?
I'm a big fan of it.
I am too. I can't find any way to fight it. Are you familiar with it? Okay, so it's basically, if you look at the last 40 years we've invented video games, the first one was Pong, 2 rectangles and a dot.
I just have to find one thing that's not
40 years later, we have photorealistic games, Call of Duty, playing thousands, millions of people playing at the same time, and it's getting better every single year. In, let's say, 1,000 years, maybe, I mean, you could multiply the rate of improvement by a fraction of what it is at now. We're going to be able to create entire universes in a computer simulation in which the people in the game think that they're real and they have consciousness. And so the argument is then, how do we know that we are not in a simulation? And if you do the math, the odds of us being the base reality that's actually going to get there is like 1 in billions.
The odds of us being the base reality?
Yeah.
Is 1 in billion.
So why are we not the simulation?
What's that?
Why are the odds of us being the base reality as in not
Being in a simulation, yeah.
But it's still a possibility.
Yeah, but it's 1 in billions.
If it was a possibility, see, and this is the thing. The thing is, I don't think possibility is definite.
Elon Musk.
It's not that it's definite. It's just that it's not that we are definitely in a simulation. It just exists the possibility that it could be. And so because it's not ruled out,
Yeah, I agree.
that means that there's a possibility for it.
Sorry to leave you hanging.
Yeah.
So
Oh, like if the world was a simulation?
Yeah.
yeah, that's what they.
Amazing theory.
See,
really. Like,
yeah.
it's like pretty foolproof.
Seriously.
So
Prove it wrong. Like, you won't.
No, but that whole.
just talk to the programmers more often. Like, okay.
I feel like the idea, I think inherent in that whole theory is like when it brings up the question, how do we know that we're the base reality? The concept of a base reality exists, right?
You can program in a
So
base
just because we
reality.
can't be sure that this is the base reality doesn't. If such a thing as the base reality exists, then it is the place at which metaphysically, like all the whole question of simulation stops.
Okay, so that
And you
would be
need a base reality
possible
for this to
worlds.
count as a simulation. You need it.
That's neat. But
Have you guys read the? Have you guys seen the lecture "Space Time is Dead" or "Space Time is Doomed"?
No.
It's by like Nish or something. It's tight.
What is it about?
It's Space Time is Doomed because they basically talk about how, like, you know, the Planck length.
Yeah.
So the Planck length is like the lowest amount of space that we can measure. Because if we measure, so to measure really, really small spaces, you have to like blast atoms together pretty much and like get them really close together. And then you have to build really big things to be able to like shoot them fast enough to get that close together.
Right.
And the Planck length is if we built a machine to get it closer than Planck length, it would create a black hole. Like, we would destroy ourselves. So this guy is saying, like, either space has this weird, super arbitrary, human-specific limitation on it, or we're just wrong about what space-time is, like, in general.
Well, have you?
Sorry.
No, I mean,
Well, I mean, so
I gotta
so
go. See you guys. Oh, jeez. Sorry, we're having a huge metaphysical argument. Hey, what's up, Judy?